Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Loren Michaels Harris, and it is, can you believe it, August 25th. Just 6 more days in this year. First, I was going to say first bathrobe moment of the day, first senior moment on bathrobe moments of the day. Oh my goodness. Yes. See what I'm saying? Yeah, we are almost through the month of August, and there's something about today. Know what it is. There's something about biorhythms or something because I mean everybody is slow today. Um, First of all, my guest is MIA, which has me worried because she has her own show and she knows that that's a no. Uh, um, it's kind of gloomy here today. I see the sun's trying to peek out. Um, and it's just one of those days where everybody, I believe a lot of people are dragging booty this morning. I wasn't. I was up right on time and vacuumed the lower level of the house this morning. And because I have a guest coming, I'm really excited tonight. Ben Peterson from Salt Lake City is coming for an overnight visit. We have some business to work on. And so he's actually in New Jersey today, spending the day with Danny Torres. So that should be fun for them. And then we're here tomorrow working on business. He's my show. He's my guest tomorrow morning. Before I go any further, won't you please help me welcome to the show my sidekick, Miss Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. Mm. We have been, hi Heather and hi David. How are you guys? How's everybody doing today? Today I thought, since at first, you know how it is, you're in live television and then your guest does not show up. This has happened before, and I have just said if anybody has something they want to talk about, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put it in the comments. It is the link where you can come in and we can do turnstile. Remember when I used to do turnstile Thursday, where you could come in and take a turn and just talk? Well, we're going to revive that today because, okay, there it is. There's the link. If anybody wants to step up and come in and join me for a few minutes and just chat and share something that is a burning desire, um, anything but politics. We can even talk religion, just not politics, because I haven't had much luck lately. Talking, I feel like I'm ashy. Wait, this is like a mirror. Which I want to go that way. What is that? I can never get it right. Pat your head, rub your stomach. So anyway, who's got something that they want to talk about? Uh, I'm looking at the screen. People are starting to come in. Anyway, tomorrow, let me just go down the list. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and I have told you Ben Peterson's here. But then tomorrow night, Nadia Flamenco is on Bathroom Moments After Dark at 7 p.m. Look who just showed up, Vicky, the guest. Okay, now here's the crossword. Anyway, back to Nadia Flamenco. She's an actress, a movie producer, a movie director. Been in a lot of things. I'm sure you're going to recognize. So she's here tomorrow night. I'm going to show a promo for her when we go to commercial. So I guess Vicky did decide to show up after all. I know. I'm praying, Jesus, I love you. Jesus loves me. This I know. So I'm not mean. Listen, I'm 58 years old. I don't need anybody trying to give me a heart attack. Okay? Seriously. Um, I know she can hear me too. Hi, Robert. How are you? Mm-hmm. I see you down in the green room. I ought to make you sit there. Yeah, you. I'm gonna bring her in here, everybody. Pray for me, people. Pray. I I love Jesus. Yes, I do. I love Jesus. Yes, I do. And while she's getting in here, um, I'm going to do a little more prayer. Excuse me while I go into my prayer closet.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Loren. I'm so sorry. Hello, everybody.
They've been instructed. They've been instructed. to just sit here just like me.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Oh,
what alien had you abducted? Um, I know it's nighttime there, so what say you, Vicky Omafalaji?
I was sitting on the couch waiting and waiting, and then I dozed off.
Oh, oh, did you now?
Honestly, I totally dozed off. I mean, so Stephen came and said, "Aren't you supposed to be with Lauren right now?" I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, we had already decided we were gonna have Turnstile Tuesday.
Oh,
I had put the
so,
link inside the comments. Said, "Well, whoever wants to come in here, come in here."
no,
So
I'm
better late
so,
than never. I get it. I
I'm
get it.
so
It is
sorry.
late in the evening. Actually, it's what, midnight there?
It's 11, 10 past 11.
Okay. Well, see, if you go to bed half the time at a decent hour, you wouldn't. Anyway, that's another show.
So please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please
You're
forgive me,
forgiven.
everyone.
You're forgiven. We Everybody else is late today too. I was saying, I don't know. It's a drag booty day. It's kind of
Mm,
gloomy, but the sun's trying to peek out here. But nonetheless, I always say this when the promises where two or more are gathered. So this has happened before, and it's just been me and one other person. And it's
mm,
interesting because with the replays from that day, I had one of my biggest numbers that day, and I
mm.
thought that was so interesting. So ever since that day, I don't sweat it. I figure it's going to be
Yeah,
what it's meant to be, and you're here, so that's all
exactly.
that matters. Now, we
Mm,
did see you posting. That's why you couldn't. That's why. Oh wait, that was nighttime for us. That was daytime for you. Yeah, we saw you
mm.
posting last night, and we want to know what is this thing about Sweden? Brian's in an uproar. He's like, Vicky's moving to Sweden. Are you?
No, I wish, but no. I mean, yesterday morning, our premier, who you guys call governor, was talking about extending the lockdown for
Oh,
another 12 months. And I
12
mean,
more months, a
oh,
year.
yes, 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 yes.
Wow.
So that was the thing that just, I'm like, I just want to get out of the state, you know.
Yeah.
I just put it there. And because
Okay.
Sweden is a country that never had a lockdown, that never had any restrictions, and they're still the coronavirus is not wiping them off
Mm-hmm.
like it's doing to most places who had restrictions and all these lockdowns. I just, yeah, that was why I used Sweden as was just a joke.
Right.
But
Well,
some
when
people
you do that stuff with Brian, you have got to make sure he understands. He was like, I'm like, I said, well, she said she was getting a new house. She just didn't tell
mm,
me it was in another country. So,
no.
okay. Nonetheless. So,
Yeah.
Vicky, why don't you, for the folks that may not know you, and
Mm,
hello, Ronald Dyson, welcome aboard. Good to see you here. I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays. So, for the people that don't know you, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them, we don't have all day, so you can't list all the things you do. List the top
yeah.
five. She does about 100 things.
I mean, one of the things that I try not to I mean, it's just I just don't like talking about what I do. I prefer people seeing what I do. But of
Oh,
course, not everybody know me. So I'm just gonna say I'm a mother of three, a wife to a lovely gentleman, and I am a child of God above everything else. And I publish books. I am a clinical psychotherapist for
mhm.
over 20 years now. I have a practice, private practice. And I publish magazine and I run a networking group. What else do I do? Yeah, those are just the things that I
Right.
do. Uh,
Okay. And we did say that today. What is that? Oh, good. Okay, something I saw on my phone. I'm glad we're here because I'm going to try to turn the corner on you today, if you will,
Mm,
because I have a feeling. Good morning, Aaron Hymas, president of E360 TV. Um, uh, because I feel like things happen for a reason, and we were all slow getting started today. And I always look at things like, what is it that those negative forces may be trying to stop us from hearing or saying? And so
mm,
I clear everything. It's like I take my arm and just clear everything off the table that I've set and leave it for God to reset. And
exactly.
he's just started laying out the appetizers. So
Hmm.
what I hear is, I'd like us, if you're okay with it, you have all those things going on. You guys, your husband's a physician. You had a bunch of clinics. COVID came. You had to shut a bunch of them down, and you were recouping because you had that horrible experience a couple years ago with some people who were just not of a good nature. Let's put it that way.
Mm,
And they're all out there, and all these things come, and all these challenges. But during COVID, we've all been challenged in a lot of ways. But I'd like us to talk about today because, again, everybody, quote unquote, the healing never ends. In order
oh,
for
no.
us to heal a little more each day, we have to pass our existing healing on to someone else. And so today, Vicky, I have a feeling that someone out there can benefit from hearing your story about during this COVID epidemic, since it began back in March, the loss of your mother. That was a very difficult. I feel that that was probably the most devastating thing that you've ever dealt with in your existence,
Experience.
right or wrong.
Yep. Mm,
If you're okay, could we talk about that a little bit today? And
of course.
did that catch you off guard? I mean, we all know with aging parents, it's inevitable that one day, just like it's going to be us one day, but it's not. It doesn't prepare you for the reality of it, does it?
Hmm. Now, and up until now, I mean, it's still a total shock. But at the time it happened, um, I believe it was so hard. I remember the day that I was called. I was called. My little brother, the only one that lives in Nigeria, said to me, "Mom, she's gone to be with the Lord." I remember running up and down the house, upstairs, downstairs, crying, screaming my gut out.
Mm,
It was a scream that came from, like, no, no, it's not real. It can't be real. No, no way.
hmm
And my kids, they've never seen me that way. My husband, poor husband, they were all like, please, mom, please, oh, Vicky, please. She's gone to a better place. She's I just couldn't take it. And the shock was so much that for weeks, I'm not talking about a day or two. I was
Oh,
talking about weeks. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't, even to wash was a problem. I couldn't talk. And this is me who had always been a positive minded person. The work that I do, I just try and put positive spin on everything.
yes,
And I help people out. I do things for people when it comes to their psychological well-being.
right.
Now, for me to have gone through that and reacted that way, it was just. I mean, I look back sometimes. I'm like, what? I tried everything possible. The pain, when you have a pain that it was so deep, nothing could touch it. No words, absolutely no words from anyone. I mean, if you remember, that I was actually saying that to Stephen when he came back from work this evening. That was when I told him that we have a session tonight, and
hmm
I was saying to him that, oh, when I was in the deepest place, I remember sending a text to Loren that, Loren, I've lost everything. And Loren sent me a message and said, oh, Vicky, Look at the man next to you, like look at Dr. Man and tell me that you've lost everything. Look
Mm,
at your those lovely kids and tell me that you've lost everything. I just want you to look at them right now, then I'll
mhm,
call you back. And those words, even though it was just a message, you didn't talk to me. You tried to talk to me. You tried to call me. I
mhm,
didn't pick up. But those words did some amazing things for me. I mean, it started to get me to start looking at, okay, mom left, but I've got these beautiful kids around me. I've got my husband that loves and supports me.
mhm,
I want my mother. I want my mother because she was the one person in my life that loved me unconditionally, that was there for me, not just physically. I mean, she was a person that I count on
mhm.
prayerfully. She, uh, anything, she'll pray. She will, give all her support. She's got this heavenly energy, spiritual energy that
Mhm.
you can tell her anything, and then as soon as you finish speaking and she says those words, you feel like okay, God had already done it. The way she was a woman of faith.
Yes.
I mean, in so many ways. So for all this to have happened, and because we didn't even know that she was gonna go the way she did,
So she wasn't
yeah.
sick.
She wasn't sick. She wasn't sick, but few days before she eventually did die, she collapsed and she was taken to the hospital, and she never came back home. And Lauren, and to anyone that may be watching this, grief is much more than the loss of that person. For
Mhm.
me, it wasn't just the fact that I lost my mother.
Right.
Our passing shook the foundation I've always known. What I
Mm,
thought I've always known. And when the time comes, I will actually go deeper with that aspect. But I grieved for my mother, and I grieved for the father that I used to have, that I thought I had.
mm,
And this aspect you didn't really know, Lauren,
mhm.
but when the time comes, I will actually talk about it.
Okay.
So it's the death of my mother brought all the dirt that I'd never thought existed,
Mhm.
because I was raised in a Christian family. My father was a pastor. That people within the community all over, they respect my family so much.
Mhm.
But it was my mother who was the person, the glue, the one that prevented the dirt to come out, prevented or cover up, or she was always there to clean the mess.
Mhm.
I never ever realized that they were a mess, that we have all these junks again and again, but she was always covering up, you know, because she wanted the family together.
Yes.
So at my I will be 50 in a few months' time. At almost 50 years old, the pain of knowing that she went through so much pain in a marriage of 49 years to
Mhm.
make sure that the children, they they don't know the dirt, and she
Right.
stayed there at her own, at her own expense. That pained me so much. So
Well,
I just can't talk as I wanted to. I really want to open this up and let it out, but I still
yes.
can't do it.
Right.
Not yet.
Well, the door will eventually open. but it cannot open until we find the courage to put our hands on the knob. And then once you put your hand on the knob, it's okay to sit there. And then eventually God will give you the courage to turn the knob. And it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to sit there. And then he will give you the courage to pull it, even
Yep.
slightly. And
Mm.
because he says, come as you are. So God
Mm.
understands. And I just want to say, because, Brenda's watching, Brenda Tucker Jeffries. And I sang at her husband's funeral just a few weeks before COVID came. And so I know she's been dealing with it too. And a lot of us, excuse me, my sister lost her husband a couple weeks before COVID. But I want to say this, having buried two mothers myself, my original, my Eve, my birth mother, and also the woman who raised me. Um,
Mm.
you know, I still have days when I feel like they're here with me, where I forget sometimes and I want to pick up the phone and just call my mom and share something with her. And then it dawns on me. But the thing is, the hardest part for me has been, and it was like this from the beginning, how you wake up and you can see the sun peeking through the blinds. You can hear birds chirping. You have a great day laid out in front of you. And then you're just laying there for a second. You go, but something's just not.
Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah. Because, when we mourn, when we grieve, what I still grieve is not either one of my mother's deaths. I grieve the vast emptiness that exists because they're not here. Some
Exactly.
things can't be
Mm.
replaced. You know what I'm saying? You think that
Mm.
when a person goes, something's going to fill that space back in. Like when you see mercury poured inside of something and it rolls down and then it just fills up
Mhm.
all the space around it.
Yep.
That doesn't work like that. But
Mm.
but it does work to our benefit. And I will say this, what it has helped me to do is to appreciate the subtleties that weren't
Mm.
so obvious when they were with me.
Exactly.
I You know what I mean? I
Mm.
think about, well, what would mom tell me to do? What would my mother say about this? If I could get her opinion, oh, I can hear her just as clear as day. You know how back in the days, Vicky, when people used to write letters, or you get that birthday card from your grandma or your auntie or someone
Mm.
that had the $5 bill in it when you were a kid, that had the little money in it. And every time they wrote on the side of the card or in the letter, it sounded just like they were there. You could
Exactly.
hear they wrote like they spoke. And
Mm.
I still hear that. It's like both of my moms still write letters on my heart. They write letters on
Mm.
my spirit. When I need to hear a word, they send it to me.
Yes, there. Mm.
And so it's the things that they leave that I did not understand I had. So it's not what they took in as much as it's what they've left.
You left.
Uh, so we get what we get when we're here face to face, and then when
Mm-hmm.
someone passes and moves, their legacy, their message, their
Lives
spirit
on. Yes.
lives on.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes. Yep.
I hope that's encouraging a bit for you. Um,
Mm.
and Brenda says, no one can ever fill the void left by her passing, and that's
No.
absolutely right. That's
Mm.
absolutely right. Let me ask you this. Now, you said you were a woman of faith. You are a woman of faith, because this is another thing that a lot of people, it's a part of the grieving process, and a lot of people don't know how to deal with it. I know I didn't. And I know when my adoptive mom died, I was just a little boy, but I was angry at God for quite a while, probably
Oh.
until.
Oh.
So
Oh.
talk
Yes.
about that. How did
Yes.
you deal with that, and how's it doing now?
Oh. I was so angry with God when it happened. I was so angry. I was like, how can you do this? You know, this woman suffered. She suffered. And when it is time for her to start enjoying life, you just took her away like that. You did this to us. You did this
Hmm.
to me. I mean, the woman that I will call any time of the day. I mean, she was the one that was with us, with Stephen and I, through the ordeal of, what we went through with the business and
Hmm.
the pain. And she was always praying. This woman, tell her about whatever problem. She will go on her knees. She will pray. She will fast, and I mean like no
Yes.
food, no nothing for days, until God answers that prayer. That was the woman that she was.
Wow.
Now she just left like that. And one thing she said, her last statement that I heard. So one of the neighbors stayed with her through towards the end. And what she said broke my heart. And there are times I still remember and I still feel really bad. Are you there, Loren? Hi, Loren. I can't see Loren. She's joining me again.
I'm
You
here.
disappeared.
I was reaching for my coffee without looking and hit,
Oh, I was like, is it still
but I was
there?
watching you on the screen over here.
Oh, okay.
Go
So
ahead.
so I mean, when it now happened, I mean, she said the last statement she made was she kept on saying to that young woman that was with her, she was the one that took her to the hospital. She was the one that stayed with her. She kept calling my mother grandmother because that was the way she was to young married
Sure.
women in the community. So she was more like a someone that will raise capital and give the people like that money to start business. She will encourage them. She will tell them, "You've got this skill. Why don't you do this? How much do you need? How can I help you to get started?" So she was that type of a woman. So this lady took to my mother a lot. So when she was told that mom slumped, she was the one that rushed her to the hospital and stayed with her. And then my mother told this woman towards the end that, um, I'm lonely. No one really, I mean, it's like I've got no one, but I don't want my children to be disturbed. I don't want my children to be disturbed. So don't call them. They will be all right. But I've got no one. And what she was saying was that her husband never came to see her. Her husband didn't take her to the hospital. And that was more like the third time she fell, not that she slumped. So she has been feeling sick for
Mm-hmm.
weeks before that time. The husband never called the children. We're not stepchildren, we are his children. But he never called any of the children to say, Mom hasn't been well. So we didn't know.
Mm.
We had no idea. So she was in the hospital maybe two times before that my little sister that lives in US called to say, "Oh, I couldn't get to speak to mom. Dad, where is mom?" And dad said, "Oh, she's just gone out." Meanwhile, mom was in the hospital. He didn't say anything to anybody. And that was how she was treated by this man that she loved for 49 years. And they
Wow.
were they were people that people were looking up to, for years. So she couldn't do anything. She felt like, oh, what will people say if I leave this relationship? So she didn't do anything.
So she didn't do anything.
Yeah. So, and we thought, I mean, I didn't even know how bad things were. But maybe she knew it was going to happen. I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
months before she eventually passed, she started writing things.
Mm-hmm.
And she now said in a book, in the book that she started writing, the notebook, she said in the front page that I've been mistreated, I've been misunderstood,
Mm.
I've had words said about me that weren't true. And
Mm-hmm.
that was because I don't know how to talk about things like this. I don't talk to people about things like this. And people believe what they've heard from the man that was supposed to love me the most.
Wow. When we come back from break, I want to talk with Vicky about several things. I want to talk about how we can use death to enhance our lives. I'd like to talk about what it's like to experience the death of a parent or anyone during the COVID pandemic. how it was different, and the grieving process, the do's and don'ts. And then also, we want to work our way up to forgiveness. Is it in her arsenal? Is it something on the table that she plans to utilize? And I speak of forgiveness for the man that you said your mother was just writing about. So when we come back, we're going to talk about all that and more. Get your questions ready. Don't go away. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. Okay, well, I'm back. I think Vicky did the same thing I did. I saw her walking around, and all of a sudden she flew off the screen. So when she comes back to her seat, you'll see she's gone, and hopefully she'll come back in. I'm Loren Michaels Harris, and thank you for joining us here today on today's episode of Bathrobe Moments. I see she's back. And a couple things before I bring Vicky back in. You saw in the last commercial break an advertisement, promotional, if you will, for Joshua T. Berglund's new show, which premieres later in the week. I am Joshua. So get over to his page and check it out and find out how you can hit the notifications button so you can catch this new show of his. We're very excited at E360 about that. And also, if you notice the competition where you or someone you know, if you tell them about it, could win 12 1-hour shows on the E360 television network. This is a soft launch for round 2 of the next Global Impactor, which is launching as we speak. Sometime in October, we will open the gates where you can upload your video to our YouTube channel, where you can ask and you can say, I deserve to be the next impactor, and here's why. And so this launch, this 3 people that get to win 12 shows, it's just a little thing to stir the pot up. If you're interested, get at me, and I'll send you the link. You can upload your 1-minute video, which could make you the next person in line, one of 3, to get your own 12-show award from E360 and the next Global Impactor. Oh, now look who's back. And you changed your, oh, so you, okay, hey, your light kind of looks like the chandelier here.
Yes.
It's kind of
No, I changed my location. I started packing, and I will be moving tomorrow. So I've got boxes all over the place. But it's the only room not affected.
So you're
where I
moving
was
to Sweden
before.
Tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow morning. So in a few hours, I'll be moving.
Wow!
No,
congratulations. So, Vicky, let's. How have you used the experience so far to enhance your life? Did you have to speak with your children? I'm sure, because here's the question. Here it is. When did you put yourself a little to the side because you knew you needed to be that mother to your children who just lost their grandmother? Did that help get you back up?
Um, oh, what helped me was me going back to God. I had to ask for Him to forgive me for um, how I was, because I couldn't bear to talk to Him. I couldn't bear to pray to Him. I couldn't bear to do anything when it comes to God. I was so angry, and I said to him, sorry, the TV is needs to be turned off. I said to him, I don't know why you took away my pain. I mean, took away the my my coach, my love, the woman that I had so much planned for to to bless her for what she's done. But you
Mm,
have your reason, so you've got to give me strength to get back up. And when I said to you in a text message that, Loren, I lost everything. I lost everything. I was talking about so many things,
I know.
The loss of my mother was the main thing. The loss of the family unit that I thought I had was another, that I grew up thinking we were
Mm,
solid, you know, and the loss of that, the loss of when I was so much in that deep part of grief that I thought I would never be able to get off, and I was feeling like I let myself down, and I let my numerous clients down, people that have had through that journey, people that have come to me, people
mm,
that were still my client, thousands of them that were looking up to me, that if I could not deal with this, what do I have to keep saying to people? That was the way my mind was working,
right.
that there's no way I can. So, Vicky, just close the shop. Close the shop as in your everything, your mouth. Stop talking because you've got nothing to share anymore. That was the way the mind was playing tricks on myself, my own mind, my
Yeah.
own voice, kept on telling me
Yes.
these lies, and because I was in a very deep part, and once in a while during that period, I'll try and do a live show or do a recording just to try and get myself up, depending on the day. I'll get into the shower, I'll do a little bit of makeup. And during those times, I wasn't eating anything. I was depleted physically, mentally, in every way. But I was still trying to push myself that, no, I'm not going to allow this to pull me down. And the words of my mother that she said to me weeks before she passed, she said to me one day, Vicky, I always make it a point to buy data. In Nigeria, they don't have internet like we do, that you can use it as much as you want. You buy you buy prepaid
Oh,
data.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So yeah, she was paying thousands of naira kind of worth of data every day so that she can watch me. I was doing my shows almost every day at that time. I
Yeah.
always put, even not show, I would just put thoughts together, and I will record myself, put it out there, do a live one or record it and upload it. And or write. I write a lot. So she said, I always love to read what you put out there. I always love watching you. And I just
Mm,
thank you. I thank God for you because, I mean, all my kids, that was what she would say to me. All my kids, God has blessed them so much that they all are doing well in their own right. So I love watching you, your sister. I have a little sister who lives in UK, who is she's an IT specialist and she's a clinical nurse. Now
mm,
she's got a brand, her own fashion brand, and she talks about a fashion brand. I have a little brother who is a director of different shows on a
Mhm.
TV, one of the main TVs in Nigeria. I've got another one who is a pastor. I've got a little sister who lives in North America, who is also doing well in her own right, and she said this to me just weeks before she passed. So when I was going through the grief, I remember what she said to me, and I'm like, would she like me being like this? Because
Mm.
since I knew my mother, really, I knew her to be a mother of faith, the
Ah,
kind of woman. I mean, faith, and I mean like not faith just with your mouth.
yes.
She demonstrated it
Mhm.
several times. I've told the story of when my stepbrother passed. He fell because he was electrocuted, and he was solid on the ground. And this woman prayed him back to life. I wasn't told of the story. I was there. This man was on the floor for over 2 hours, blue on the
Wow.
ground, and this woman prayed. I wasn't told. I was there before and after. And so those were the things that she was. And for this to have happened, I'm like, no, why? Why?
Right.
But at the end of the day, coming back to what got me out, it got to the point that I didn't like where I was, that dark black hole that I was like, I was trying to look for anything possible to help take me out, to drag me out of it. So I will look on YouTube, I will search for overcoming grief. Nothing could help me. Then there was a day that I ran into a man called Rick. He's a pastor in the United States, Rick Myers or something like that.
Mhm.
His son passed away 6 years ago from suicide.
Okay.
And how do you deal with grief? Not a little kid. The boy was I think in his early 20s, and he killed himself. This is a pastor everybody was looking up to, and
Right.
this man made one statement. He said, "If you are waiting till the grief passes before you start doing something, before you start helping other people, it will never, the pain will never stop. So
Mm.
do what you can with where you are. Start doing a little, just one step after the other." He also said, don't waste your pain.
Mm.
Waste your pain. That was when I started talking about, I started doing my video show before I joined E360 TV. I started talking about grief, overcoming grief, knowing fully well there were so many people whose parents passed away. So many people passed away. They're still passing away from COVID, and
Yes.
we nobody could travel, nobody could visit, nobody could go and sympathize with friends and family. You can't spend time with anyone, and that was
Right.
another thing that made it so bad for me. I had nobody could visit me. No one could
Right.
because of the lockdown. So I had no one coming, nobody coming. I only had my husband and my kids. Stephen took 1 week off to be with me because I was so much in a bad place. The kids, they all stood up and they were there trying to just help me out. And even they being there couldn't help me at that time. It was bad. But Rick, that pastor that I listened to, the statements, different things that he said got me to start, okay, I don't expect to get healed immediately. Even those were the things that I used to tell my clients. And why couldn't I tap into that?
Right.
I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see any way out. And remember, I was supposed to be right now in Chicago with you guys, if you
Mhm.
remember. And I was supposed to have my
Speaker
tour,
series. Mhm.
the speaking tour, the summit. Global Achievers Summit, and right now we're supposed to be in Chicago, then Toronto, and then later on to Nigeria, Sydney, and all that. And people had already, so many speakers from around the globe. They've already paid at their application fees. They've already applied for it. So many have already applied for their passports and visas to different places that they will be speaking at. So when this pain was so unbearable for me, and they were looking up to me for directions. Okay, we can't travel because of the lockdown. All right, but let's do other things. And I just couldn't. I wasn't even in the right space of mind. So I refunded everyone. I just told them, I'm sorry, I can't do anything now. And
Right.
COVID is preventing us. We had people paid for their tickets.
Right.
Everyone, I
Oh
refunded
yeah.
every. I just left it, and I'm like, okay, my business is dead. I'm not good for anyone. That was the way. Yeah. So I mean, your your word revived me. Rick's word revived me. And like I said, words are quite powerful. You never
Yes.
know what your words can do to help somebody out,
To help somebody else.
which is the reason why I have the shows, and I'm trying to make it a place where those words that comes out from the show can go out and serve as seeds into people. The
Right.
words that you said to me, that Vicky, look at your husband and tell me you've lost everything. Look at your children and tell me you've lost everything. That reminded me to be grateful for what I still have here. Yes,
Amen.
mother,
Yes.
my mother has gone. She was gone, but she left a good legacy,
Hmm.
a good legacy. And
Hmm.
if I can't, even if I write 10 books, it's not enough to share this woman's story. And I'm hoping down the line, when all this coronavirus is off, I would like to be able to develop our story into a movie,
Oh,
because so many
nice.
women, yeah, so many women, they are in bondage. I mean, they are in bondage, and they still can't help themselves. I spoke to over 100 women 2 days ago on about emotional abuse,
Hmm.
and that they think they are
Hmm.
Christians, they can't do this. They think they can't really help themselves because other people are looking
Mm.
up to them. Meanwhile, they are not in a good place, and they
Right.
just kept managing. And life is not a place for you to keep enduring. Life is for you to live, and to live a fulfilled life. And there was another thing that I used to do when things aren't going well for me. I write a lot. I've
Hmm.
published
Hmm.
over 60 books on my own.
Hmm.
Um, so I write when I'm in pain or when I get inspired. I write. But when it happened for my mother, I couldn't write, because as soon as I pick up my pen to start writing, you know what? The pain and the fact that there were people that shouldn't be in your book. Unfortunately, that person that caused the pain was there. There's no way I can tell my mother's story without telling.
Without telling it. You
Exactly.
can't change the truth because it is no longer the truth. It's a version.
Exactly. It's no longer
Excuse
the
me.
truth. And during my 3 months of being in that dark hole, I kept on asking myself, who am I really? Because the person that I thought I was wasn't. Though now it was Coach Chucks that says something. Without the bad
Can't
and
see
the
that.
good, you can't be who you are today.
That's right.
So embrace it. And what I'm saying about planting seeds with our words, Coach Chuck did his.
Hmm.
And all that, when I mix them all together, they've helped me. And prayers is another. My husband was praying over me. Oh my goodness. He thought he was going to lose me.
Hmm.
He thought, because I was so much in a bad place. And
Yeah.
even though his tears didn't stop the pain for me, my
I
husband
wanna
will sit with me, will hold my hands.
He would. And I remember you saying that. I want to jump in here for a second because and everybody knows this happens every blue moon. And I'm speaking of that's what I love Robert Brooker so much. People think that Robert just constantly puts any old thing up on the comments because he'll put a million comments, and I love it. I never feel right if I look around and I don't see Robert Brooker in the room. And
Mm,
I believe that God uses Robert from time to time to really put something out there. And today is one of those days, Vicky. I'm going to go down the list
mm,
of what he said, and it's just absolute perfection. And I know that it's a message for you, and I hope that you receive it. He says many leaders
mm,
sacrifice their own personal well being for what they perceive to be the greater good. But many do eventually realize, as your mother did, that in order to be most effective, self care must be a priority first. Then maximum effect is able to be offered. Then he said, now, Vicky, the leader is here, as you started changing where you were going. He goes, and what that is love. And he
it's
says, when you were
mm.
talking about all the pain, you were eating adversity for breakfast. And I'm sitting here and I'm
Oh,
watching, and Robert has been hitting the hearts the entire
oh
time,
yeah.
and now he's stopped because I believe something was leading him to get that in there. And after reading Robert's comments to you, Vicky, I keep the wall of purpose. There's probably, I don't know, 50 or 60 post-it notes. I'm going to turn the camera so you guys can see on that wall. That those are
Wow.
things
Look at
that you know this. You've
yeah.
been here in this house. You know that wall, and those are things that, for the most part, come through me, to me on their way through me. And this one has been up there for a
Mm,
while, and I'm sharing it with you because I know I was instructed to pull it off the wall today, and it says emotional bargaining. Emotional
mm.
bargaining is something that
Bargaining.
we are given permission to do.
Mm,
It helps fulfill the promise that it's okay to come as we are. So
mm-hmm,
emotional bargaining means bring your anger, and I'll take it from you and give you this valuable piece instead. Bring your pain, and I will
mm.
take it from you and give you joy instead. Bring your questions, and I will give you answers instead.
It's that. Mm,
Emotional bargaining, a very real thing, and one of the greatest gifts the Father can offer. So, I just want you to take that with you today. I can't believe we have 4 minutes left.
oh,
But I want you to tell everybody in closing. Tell them about the Global Achievers Club. Who's it for? And where are we going with that?
oh yes. The Global Achievers Club is my brand that I started years back now, 3.5, 4 years. And it's all about helping aspiring speakers, new starters, established speakers with their positioning and branding.
Okay.
We I'm not sure about you, but I've met coaches that promise heaven and earth and never
Mm.
delivered.
Yes.
I've met coaches that charges heaven and earth for big promises. I'm gonna get you here. I'm gonna do this for you. I'm gonna and never delivered. I've met that. I've paid and I've done all that kind of stuff, and nothing happened. And I just decided, you know what? Enough of me begging, paying to, be on somebody's stage that won't actually give me that stage to be on and show off. I'm going to create my own stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to create it in different ways that would not cost anyone that come to me to help them. It won't cost them heaven and earth. It won't cost them their hands and their legs. I'm going to make it so affordable and still help them to get to where they need to be.
And where do they
And that
go?
was
Where do they go to get some of this? Is there a website? Is there
it. There is a website. It's called
okay?
The Global Achievers. .org, www.theglobalachievers.org. So all the questions, I mean, all the answers are there. So it's about the club. And if you're a member of the club, you get your book publishing 50% of the time if you're a VIP member. And we
Okay.
have group mentoring sessions once a month that we come
Okay.
together. We hold each other accountable. And apart from that, they also use my show to launch themselves, to be seen out there more, because in our businesses we've got to be out there. We need to be seen, we need to be heard, and I use this platform to do that. So whether through the magazine, through publishing books with me, through being in the club, because when we're all back out there doing what we love doing, speaking on my platforms across the world, and
Right.
I,
Right.
I do that. Just making sure that I'm there to support them to get up and be where they want to be.
There you go. Love it. Love it. Vicky, thank you so much. I want to let you know how honored I am that you were able to, peel the band-aid off and let some air get to what is still healing. And again, what you've just done is you've passed your healing. What up to the level you're at is good enough. There's still more for you to heal. And there's, but
Yeah.
now what you've done is you've passed the
Mm,
healing that you've already gotten onto someone else, and now that's going to take you further in your own healing. It's all about
mm.
being of service, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing that today. And for the rest of you out there, thank you for showing up. I know that this was a word for someone. I ask only that you receive it. Seriously. I know sometimes it's difficult for us to believe that all of this could have come together just for you. But I want you to know that the God that I serve sees each and every one of us and will create that special moment where he takes you and sits you right there on his knee and whispers in your ear those words of comfort that you've been longing to hear. So receive it, believe it, and see where it leads you. If you want to know how to become the blessing in someone else's life, simply look in the nearest reflective service. When you see yourself, you see the blessing. Once you see the blessing, you can get out there and be the blessing. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris. Thank you so much. Join me tomorrow morning when Ben Peterson will be here, and we'll do it all over again. God willing. Vicki, love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much.
You
My
too.
best to the good doctor and all your children. Happy moving. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
God bless.
Same to
Bye.
you. Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Mm.